Ladies and gentlemen, it's been a while. I apologize for being gone, but let's go on ahead and get into this video. Let's talk about this Pat McAfee DLC. They definitely have not been following the trend of when a DLC pack is dropping, they usually drop screenshots, entrances, they drop a little gameplay here and there. I mean, they just did it for the Post Malone pack, but here we are. No gameplay, no entrances, no screenshots, no ratings, no teasers. I mean, I can go on and on about this. Obviously, we know that this is indeed the worst DLC pack of all time. I think that people couldn't be less interested at the moment, but here we are. And right now, we got this Pat McAfee DLC pack that was... keywords was supposed to drop on July 24th, and Pat McAfee tweeted this morning and said some of these BUMASS IWC folks are calling this the worst DLC of all time. That's rude, very rude. In parentheses, July 24th is not the drop date. So what is this supposed to mean? I mean, we've been under the impression that July 24th is the drop date for this DLC since the game came out, and that's just what it is. I remember at the very beginning of the year when people found out about this pack, we found out about the date and we were dreading the Post Malone and Pat McAfee DLC pack being back to back. Now, the dates that have been promoted are the ones that have been used, and the DLC has effectively been dropped on those dates. So what could this mean that July 24th is not the drop date? And I got a couple ideas in my mind and I want to talk about them, but I also don't want to work myself into something that is not true. Now, the first thing that came to mind is, could it be that they're scrapping this DLC and giving us something new, and Pat McAfee is trolling? We all know Pat McAfee is a big troll. He's trolling online, and I mean, hey, I think that 2K has definitely received the worst attention possible with this DLC pack because it truly felt like a scam and the DLC pack felt out of place. Not many players want to play with, you know, Pat McAfee and his co-host. Pat McAfee is cool and all, but the co-host, that's where my problem comes in at. They could have added Pat McAfee and a complete other pack with, you know, other wrestlers that are relevant and deserve to be in the game. With that being said, I know that 2K does not make the call on who gets to be in the game. I know that that is a WWE call, but again, with all of that being said, there are some NXT wrestlers that indeed do deserve to be in this game, and I would love nothing more than to see them added, maybe as free DLC or something like that. I mean, you have wrestlers like Naomi, Authors of Pain. You have wrestlers like that you would love to see in the game just because they've been in the game before. Why not add them? We saw that last year where we got a surprise with Mia Yim and Candice LeRae, and I was kind of hoping for the same treatment this year. And I think that if there is going to be any treatment at all this year of that sort, it's going to be with the Pat McAfee DLC pack. Now, this is the first time in a really long time that I could remember off the top of my head that the DLC is actually being delayed, because according to him, it's not dropping this week, and it does make sense because 2K hasn't promoted it or spoke about it at all. Now, another reason why it's not being talked about is because 2K knows the generational slander they're gonna get when they tease this type of content. I mean, Post Malone and Friends pack, that wasn't that bad after it came out, but this right here, man, nobody's interested, and that's just my 2 cents. WWE 2K24 is not in the hottest place right now. We can all agree it started off pretty hot. I know we had our community creations issues and things like that, but at the end of the day, I think that it did start off pretty well, and it was very attended to by the 2K team, and the 2K team is still working actively on this game based on the last few patches that we've gotten. But when you look back at the last maybe month or so, I think that the game has tremendously cooled off. And with that being said, I do have to appreciate you guys for still sticking around and hearing me talk about this game, because I always thought if the game goes down, that means I'm gonna go down as well. So I do appreciate you guys for, you know, keeping the boat steady and supporting and watching the content, even though I've been a little bit more inconsistent lately than usual. But yeah, man, I mean, right now it is not looking great, and this DLC pack, I can only hope that 2K has something up their sleeve and they swerve us, and that's what it is. That's just wishful thinking. I don't think it's going to happen, but I also have to be wishful and work myself a little bit into thinking that, you know, WWE 2K24, they're definitely working on something. Maybe they're holding back the DLC to throw in a couple more free characters that are actually relevant wrestlers with how pissed off people are about this DLC pack. Now, there is a movement that's starting to creep up on Twitter, and that is hashtag fixed WWE 2K24 online. Now, that most definitely needs work in WWE 2K24. That is probably one of the most broken and disappointing features every single year. And I just brought attention to it about a video or two ago, but since it's now making its way onto Twitter as a movement, it's not as strong as the free status movement that we had earlier this year. But I would love to see 2K take some initiative, work on this. I do know that they were trying to hire an online software engineer for WWE 2K. I know that's going to be worked on eventually, but people are really upset. We're about 4 months into the game cycle and online is unplayable. It is just sucky for those players who love to play online. Enjoy. If you're an online player, you might as well not even buy this game. Even if you get into a match, you're going to be a second late on every single thing you do. It's just tough to really take the online serious in this game. Now, me personally, WWE 2K24, when I first played it, I loved it. The gameplay online was actually pretty good. I used to play with a couple content creators on there. Shout out Lex Express. He was one of the guys that I used to play with online, and then it slowly started getting worse and worse. You can't reverse nothing. If you bring in created wrestlers, the game crashes. I mean, I can go on and on and on. And if you have more than 3 players or even 2 players, the game is going to crash. And that's not fun. That's not a fun perspective of a player when you pay so much money to play this game and the online doesn't even work. It doesn't allow you to do anything. Back in the day, WWE 13, 2K14, those games weren't perfect online, but they were definitely way better than what we had. And the only common denominator with 13, 12, SmackDown vs. Raw 2011 is THQ. Now, I don't know if THQ was that much better servers-wise than 2K, as I have a little bit of a short-term memory. It's been a while since I played those games, but I remember playing WWE 13 online faithfully. That was my thing. If you guys were in clans back then, you guys know. If you guys ever heard of the NWO clan, I was, in that clan. I was a kid. I was like maybe 11, 12 years old, but it was fun. It was a fun time. I just remember having so much fun online, that being the game mode that I always wanted to play, and it wasn't even universe mode at that point in time. I just wanted to play online. So when seeing online being this bad in WWE 2K24 and 2K23 and 2K22, it is just discouraging and disheartening as a player, especially when that may be one of the things that you look forward to. I've always mentioned my faction being a good mode or something bigger than what it currently is right now if they can fix the online servers. I grind the live events. I may spend a little money here and there, and I can't even play online because I can't justify going in there and giving myself a worse time than just playing single player, because I know that I'm either going to be delayed or I'm just going to play somebody that's a complete cheeser. Nonetheless, that's gameplay talk, but going on just off online, it's just tough to take the online mode serious in this game. And I know that my faction has a ranked mode giving out cards and stuff like that. You love to see it, but it's not something that I want to do for myself, being that the servers are horrible. But definitely wanted to go on ahead and touch on that, guys. If you guys did enjoy this video, make sure you guys like, comment, and subscribe. I will keep you guys tuned on the DLC if we're going to get that on the 24th, if 2K is going to update us. So peace.